Good morning, my lovely students. Welcome back to our English class. Our lesson today is Writing, Unit 7, Writing a Summary of a Story, Part 1. Please open your student book pages 94, 95. In our today's lesson, we have 3 objectives. One is to identify the key information of writing a summary by answering some questions. 2. Differentiate between a story extract and a summary of a story. And finally, analyze a text to identify the key features of writing a summary of a story. And now let's remember together the events of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by answering the following questions. Do you remember the main characters of the extract? Who are the main characters of the story? Question 2. Do you remember the main events and what happened? And finally, what do you remember about Captain Nemo? Please pause the video for a while, try to remember and answer these questions. If it's difficult for you to remember, you can go to your student book page 86, try to reread the text again to answer the questions. And now, let's answer together. Who are the main characters of the story? That's correct. Captain Nemo and his crew, Monsieur Aronnax. So, who is Monsieur Aronnax? That's correct. He is the marine biologist and also the narrator of the story. Also, we have here his friend Ned Land. Do you remember the main events of the story? What happened to the Nautilus? And what happened to Captain Nemo and his crew? Let's remember together. So, a number of giant squid approached the Nautilus and one of them got caught in its propeller. There was a battle between the crew and the squid, which ended up with losing one of the crew members. And finally, what do you remember about Captain Nemo? That's correct. He is a brave man who cares about the sailors. And now, let's continue. And now, after remembering the main events of the story extract in your student book page 86, I would like you to open your student book page 94 to read the summary of the extract. Please pause the video for a while and read the summary carefully because we are going to compare between the story extract and the summary of the extract by answering some questions. Pause the video and read the summary well. And now let's go to your student book page 94, exercise A. Read this summary of the story extract on page 86, then answer the questions. Question number 1. Which sentences describe who the main characters are? So, we need here to know the main characters of the story. Let's look at the extract and try to find out the sentences that describe the main characters of the story. So, that's correct. The answer is number 1 and number 2. So, let me ask you a question here. Does the writer mention any of the minor characters of the extract? That's right. So he started his summary by talking about the main characters of the story. Let's go to the next question. Question 2. Which sentences describe what the main events are? So here we need the sentences that talk about the main events or describe the main events of the story. Let's go to the extract, pause the video for a while, highlight the sentences that talk about the main events. And now let's answer. The correct answer is, can you say that? It's correct. Sentences 4 and 5. So let's highlight sentences 4 and 5. Now let me ask you a question. When the writer of the summary talks about the main events, does the writer of the summary add more events which weren't mentioned in the extract? Think for a while. Are there any events here in the summary which weren't mentioned in the extract of the story? That's correct. So, when we mention the main events in a summary, we only focus on the main events that were mentioned in the extract without adding more details. Question 3. Which sentence describes what the main theme of the text is? And now I want you to think for a while about the meaning of the word theme or the theme of the story. What is a theme of a story? That's correct. The theme of the story is what the author wants to convey to the reader. In other words, it is the central idea of the story. So which sentence describes the central idea of the text? Pause the video for a while. Try to highlight the sentence in your student book. Now, the answer is, that's right, sentence number 3. So, and what is the main theme of the text or the story? That's correct. So, the theme of humankind against nature. Let's go to the next question. Which sentence describes where the events occurred? So, let's find out from the extract. Please pause the video for a while. Try to find the answer. So, can you say the answer? That's correct. It's sentence number 1. When he said, at sea in the submarine Nautilus. That's correct. So this is the place. Let's go to the next question. Which sentence describes why something happened? Let's look at the extract. Try to find out what's this thing and what's the reason behind it. Pause the video for a while. Highlight the answer in your student book. And now let's answer. So, which sentence describes why something happened? It's sentence 6. So he's asking here about the reason. Why it's not clear whether all the squid attack before one gets caught in the propeller or after. So the reason here is because they believe they are under attack themselves. And now the last question is, which sentence describes how something happened? So pause the video for a while. Try to find the answer. So, what is the answer? That's correct. It's number 7. There are no doubt, however, that the men win through violence, courage, and endurance. So, how did the men win their battle? They won through violence, courage, and endurance. And now please pause the video for a while. Try to read the story extract on page 86 and compare the summary with the extract in page 94. Then we will answer some questions together to find the difference between a story extract and the summary of a story. And now let's compare the summary with the extract by answering these questions. Please pause the video for a while, read the questions well, and don't forget to highlight the keywords in each question. Now, let's answer together. Question number 1. What information in the extract is not included in the summary? So can you tell me what are the keywords here in this question? That's right. It's information that is not included in the summary. And here let me ask you a question. Does the writer of the summary mention all the characters of the story? And does he give us more details about the events? That's correct. The answer is no. So, the information that is not included in the summary are detailed description and the minor characters. We only focus on the major characters of the story. The second question is, does the writer provide any information in the summary not mentioned in the extract? So, what are the keywords here? He's asking about information which is not mentioned in the extract. So, have you found any kind of information that's not mentioned in the extract? Does the writer add more information about the story which is not mentioned in the extract? Please think of the answer. That's correct. The answer is no, he doesn't. So, when we write a summary of a story, we don't add any information which is not mentioned in the extract of this story. Now, does the writer of the summary express his or her own opinion of the extract? Why do you think this is? So, here is asking about the opinion. When you write a summary of an extract, shall you include your opinion? So pause the video for a while and find out the answer. So, the correct answer is no. The writer of the summary doesn't express his opinion, but he might mention his opinion about what message the writer wants to convey at the end of the summary. So when we write a summary, we don't add our own opinion about the extract. Question 4. Does the summary writer repeat any sentences or long phrases from the extract? Why do you think this is? So, are we allowed to copy and paste sentences from the extract when we write a summary of the story? So, think of the answer and let's come back to answer together. So the answer is no. A summary is meant to be an original piece of work by the person creating it. So when writing a summary, you should use your own words and shouldn't copy parts of the original text. So you can summarize the main events of the extract by using your own words and not by copying parts from the extract. And finally, what does the writer do in the final sentence of the summary? Let's go to the final sentence of the summary, read it, and try to find out. Verne wants to make us feel here that the ocean can be an extremely dangerous place. So what does this sentence refer to? That's correct. The writer here points out what he thinks the message of the original text is. And finally, let's summarize the general ideas and the things you should think of before writing a summary. Number 1. Do not include minor characters. Only focus on the major characters unless the minor characters affect the events of the story. I mean here the main events of the story. Number 2 is to focus only on the main events without giving more details. Use your own words. Do not express your opinion about the extract. You can only express your opinion about the message that the writer of the extract wants us to know. Do not copy parts from the original text. As we said before, only use your own words. And finally, do not mention information that is not mentioned in the extract.